Hey, welcome back to Start With a Win. This is a two-part episode, and this is part two of that two-part episode. So if you haven't listened to part one, make sure you go back and listen or watch part one on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcast, and come back here and listen or watch part two. I hope you enjoy.
Welcome to Start With a Win, where we give you the tools and lessons you need to create business and personal success. Are you ready? Let's do this.
I want to ask you about learning, because you are one of the most prolific lifelong learners I have ever met. I mean, you're a speed reader. You'll put away a huge business book in a couple of days flat, no problem. And you're always looking for more knowledge to not just absorb and take into your head, but to give out to others. Why is learning so important, and how have you delivered learning through your business ventures? It's obviously a key aspect of what you do.
Well, the College of Hard Knocks is a hell of an education. That is an expensive education. And so you need to learn from the mistakes of others. You can't possibly make all of them that I've made, okay? I read voraciously. I just had to find out how to do things. I did a lot of looking at biographies of very, very successful people and tried to pick up, ideas from it. And so it started a pattern of lifelong learning. And it's fascinating to me that I gave a speech one time to the Marriott executives. About 400 of them had flown in all around the world. And you know who was in the front row taking notes?
Who?
Marriott.
Bill Marriott?
Bill Marriott.
Wow.
And so I got to talking to one of his men, Roger Dow, one of our friends.
Yeah.
And he said, he's the first one in the conference room, and he's there with his mouth shut, and he wants to learn. And he knew that he had lots of people in there he could learn from. And so we tried to do the same thing. And if you want to really upset the best management team in the world, it's go to a convention and don't go to the sessions, because you don't need that anymore. And you just go to the cocktail party or you're out in the hallway talking to your buddies. And man, that makes me so angry. We spent a lot of money to bring you here, and there's a lot of talent on that stage. You should be listening.
You and I just went to Georgetown University you're like the leader of franchising in the real estate industry, and you're back at college learning more. I walked in the room after you did, and you were sitting front and center in the front row, the first seat closest to the professor to go to this franchising course that was being put on. And I mean, you're in the International Franchise Association Hall of Fame, for crying out loud. You know a lot about franchising, but you're out learning some more.
There's this thirst for knowledge. I totally understand franchising in the real estate sector, but I'm not sure I understand franchising in the food sector or in the exercise sector or whatever it might be. And so probably 80% of what I got reaffirmed what I already knew, and 20% was eye-opening.
We see a lot of people who are like, oh, I don't need to go to that. I already know that. What do you have to say to them?
The only constant in the world is change. And the world is changing faster and faster and faster as we're sitting here. And there's an old saying that if you're older, slower, tireder, always remember there's a whole team back there that's trying to overtake your position. And they're younger, stronger, and more enthusiastic. And so if you don't keep learning, you can never catch up with their physical ability. You can't regain the youthfulness of being a 20 or 25-year-old. So you have to push yourself in the area where you can succeed at, and that's knowledge.
Are leaders made or are leaders born?
Nobody's born a leader, period. Leadership comes from an accumulated lifetime of experience. If you go to college and you get a marketing degree, a management degree, you've got a big head start on somebody that doesn't. However, that's book smart. That isn't people smart. And so I would rather look at a C student that was the quarterback of the football team, because that's a leadership position. And if he was there in college for 4 years doing that, well, he got the degree, but he got all those years of experience leading these other men. And so when we interview, I could care less whether you went to Harvard or Yale or if you went to a community college. It means nothing to me. I know that some of the smartest people do those things, and that gives you a leg up. But basically, leadership is going to come down to how do you influence and control and encourage the team. And you learn that through personal experiences.
What advice do you have for people who don't have a coach, mentor, or mastermind?
The purpose of a coach is to get more out of you than you can get out of yourself by yourself. You're using their wisdom, and their job is to analyze what you do and make suggestions of how you can improve, usually by asking you.
What's a mastermind? Why should people on here join a mastermind, and what should they look for in something like that?
Yeah, Napoleon Hill, back in the Depression days, came up with Think and Grow Rich. And because everybody was broke, he said that there's 7 steps to accomplishing any goal that you want. And the first thing is you got to figure out what you want and write it down. And then you have to write down a plan, a blueprint. And then what you need to do is get yourself a mastermind group. And that is a group who will support you in where you want to go. Now, for instance, let's say you want to lose some weight. And you go to your friends and you tell them, look, I really have to get serious about this. I need to exercise. I need to lose some weight. And if you've got a couple of friends that look at you and just say, Dave, give it up, man. You've tried this over and over. You've lost a ton of weight. You just get it back. Don't even bother. You're not going to make it. That's killing you. That's killing your drive, your ambition, embarrasses you. No, what you want is somebody like you that's healthy and goes to the gym 7 days a week, and you work hard at it. And so mastermind groups is an incredible opportunity for like-minded people with a different background to encourage each other.
Wow. Yeah, it so much is. Talk to the listeners about habits. What is your perspective on habits and their importance in finding success and being a great leader?
Well, if we're going to talk about habits, let's talk about goals and goal setting. And the best book I've ever read is Atomic Habits. And so I've read hundreds of books on goal setting and accomplishment, writing down your goal, step-by-step plans and all that stuff. And in the Atomic Habits, he was talking about all the people that train to get an Olympic gold medal. And it's tens of thousands worldwide set off for the same thing of, I want to get that gold medal. There's only going to be one gold medal in one division. And most people drop out because they can't handle the drudgery of 6 hours of training a day, 7 days a week, year after year. It's mind-numbing. Some people can do it. And in the Atomic Habits, he talks about everybody has the goal to be number one, but only a few people get there. And the question's, how did they get there? And it makes a lot of sense. He says, the ones that have the best systems are the ones that will achieve the goal. In other words, set your system, and that's what you work at. Stop thinking about, oh, I want to be number one at whatever. If you have the right systems and you go through the drudgery and you do this day after day after day, month after month, the goal will accomplish itself.
In closing out this show, I do ask every one of our guests this question, and that is, how do you start with a win? What recommendations do you have for our listeners?
I think I have very high goals, and I'm methodical in creating the systems behind those goals. And so it's all in your mind. I used to teach a concept to real estate agents about opening night electricity. And the open night electricity is a true phenomenon. Broadway has a new show coming, and it's the talk of the town. And the actors and the dancers are chosen, and this is going to be the hottest new deal. Let's say it's Cats. And so you have this opening night. You have people arriving in limos. You got spotlights on Broadway on the outside, and you've got this 1,000-some people coming in, all pleased. I've got tickets, and this is going to be a great play. And of course, behind the scenes, all the actors and actresses, they're keyed up. They've been practicing for weeks. This is live in front of their audience. There's an opening and electricity in that building. It's from the viewers, it's from the actors and the musicians, and it sizzles. And it ends, and you get a standing ovation. You get 4 or 5 curtain calls. Everybody's ecstatic, and they rush home to tell everybody, this was the greatest play we've ever seen in our life. Well, the cast changes. It moves on. But there's no opening night electricity anymore. After 2,000 times, it's gone. And the problem is, it's in the actor's head. It's in the audience's head. They don't expect it anymore. And so your expectation is, every time you make a presentation, it's opening night electricity. This is my chance to shine. And for a real estate agent, you've already made 2,000 sales in the last, 20-some years. How do you have the excitement with this prospect who wants you to be excited about, I'm buying my first house, this is the most wonderful thing in the world, and you fail them if you can't come up with the enthusiasm level of, well, I've sold $1 million houses and I've sold $100,000 houses, and I'm tired of this. You're not pleasing your consumer. It's all within. It's heart. Opening night electricity. I'm going to write that on a note and stick it on my monitor so I see opening night electricity every morning. Dave Liniger, co-founder of RE/MAX, one of the most prolific business people I've ever met. A huge philanthropist. You've given so much to our communities, and you're just a great guy in helping build leaders. Thank you so much for being on Start With a Win. Thank you, my friend.